What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to Thomas & Friends Home Media Reviews. I'm so excited right now because we're talking about Railway Mischief when Thomas got good again. Was that too overdramatic? I don't care. I'm happy. This is where fans' questions were answered. This is where the hope that we were given by Blue Mountain Mystery was finally bestowed upon us. This is where Thomas returns to form. And it all starts here with Railway Mischief. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the history section of Railway Mischief. So Railway Mischief was originally released in April of 2013, and interestingly, it was a Walmart exclusive for its first year of release. Interesting, we haven't really seen this concept of exclusivity with releases with Thomas & Friends stuff anywhere on the show. It will become more prevalent later on, but this is really where it starts. However, it was re-released in April of 2014 to all retailers. So in April of 2014, it was no longer a Walmart exclusive. It could be found everywhere, which also means they took away the slipcover, which kind of makes me mad, but whatever. So let's go ahead and move on to the close-up section of Railway Mischief. Alrighty everybody, here's your close-up look at Railway Mischief. And before we get started, I just want to say I apologize if I don't sound too enthused. I'm just really tired right now. I've been filming close-ups and menu tours pretty much all day. This is like the 5th one I've done in one consecutive day. So yeah, but Railway Mischief, we're back to good Thomas content with a very simplistic front cover. Thomas & Friends, Railway Mischief, and again a very eye-catching font. Thomas on the front with Gordon covered in mud, as well as Thomas covered in mud, and they're running over some muddy tracks. Yeah, this poster art's not the best. It looks like it was thrown together in about 5 minutes. On the side, Hit Entertainment logo, Thomas & Friends logo, Railway Mischief, portrait of Thomas distributed by Lionsgate. On the back, Cinders and Ashes. Whoa. UPC code, blurb about what's on the disc and such. Thomas, again with the same face from the front cover. And Scruff back there. Bonus features include Soda Hide and Seek game, All You Need Are Friends, music video, fun and activities with Driver Perkins, and Guess Who puzzles. Link to the Thomas & Friends website and text specs down on the bottom. If you're wondering why exactly my cellophane is ripped right here, I bought this used off of eBay. It was like $3. It came from one of those sellers that have like tons and tons of old DVDs and such. It's also ripped up here on the front, or no, it's just a little cut in the plastic around it. But yeah, I bought this from the sellers that have like huge warehouses and overstock of just different types of DVDs and Blu-rays, and they don't use actual pictures of their products in their listings. So I wasn't sure what shape this was going to come in. So yeah, it's not a huge, like, setback, I guess you could say, but it's very noticeable. Open this up. Did not come with an insert. And your disc is a squished up version of the poster art. So that concludes the close-up. Let's go ahead and jump right into the menu tour for Railway Mischief. Alrighty everyone, here's your menu tour for Railway Mischief. You can kind of see that, I guess. But hey, we're back to good content for Thomas & Friends. Yeah, Season 17 is really good, guys. But the menu's still the same. You still have the same 4 options, and it's still stock standard. So I don't have a lot of good things to say about the menu here. I do, however, have a lot of good things to say about the stories. You know, Gordon Runs Dry, Kevin's Cranky Friends, Scruff's Makeover, Wayward Winston, Steamie Stafford. Language selection is exactly the same. So, bonus features. The Soda Hide and Seek game, we've already done this game. It was on one of the previous releases. I feel like it was on like Rescue on the Rails or something like that. All You Need Are Friends music video. I've never actually heard that song before. And Guess Who puzzles. So to give you guys some content here for the menu tour so I don't make it horrendously short, which last week's menu tour was really long, let's look at the Guess Who puzzles. Those are fun.
Can you guess who this is?
Yo, it's Mark Morgan. Not the character, the narrator. I don't know. It looks like... I'm gonna say it's Boko. Because Boko's painted yellow, right? Nah, it's Kevin. Totally Kevin. If it's not Kevin, I'm jumping off a bridge. Yeah, it's Kevin.
Did you guess? It's Kevin.
Ha, guess what? I'm not jumping off a bridge today because it was Kevin. Haha. Oh, that's Scruff. Totally Scruff.
Keep guessing.
I love how these have, like, the standard, like, puzzle putting together animation. Like, the pieces don't go in any other directions than when they're animated to. And yeah, it was right. It was Scruff.
It's Scruff.
I'm probably going to cut these down in editing because I'm not saying a lot. Well, that's Bert the Arsdale Engine. Yeah, that's who it is. I feel like I know who this is. It's probably, what's his name? The Galloping Sausage, I think is who he is. Nah, it's Gordon.
Did you guess?
I'm not that dumb.
Gordon.
I love how he says, Gordon! So anyway, that's the menu tour for Railway Mischief. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up, and now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? Railway Mischief is kind of rare, hard to find, not really all that common, I guess you could say. I don't know why. I'm surprised more fans didn't buy this when it first came out because, like I said, this is the renaissance of Thomas. This is where I got good again. But it's not really all that easy to find. It took me months to finally find a Railway Mischief copy that was in somewhat good shape or one that wasn't way too expensive. Online retailers is your best bet, but you're probably going to have to wait a while. They might have gone down by the time this video comes out, but when I'm filming this video, the prices right now are insane. Like $15 for one of them. Like, Jesus Christ, guys, come on. I'm not paying that. Would you pay that? You shouldn't pay that. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? No, it is not. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Man, I have hyped up Railway Mischief throughout this entire HMR. This is where Thomas gets good again, right? To an extent, yes. These episodes are all better written than anything that Sharon Miller crapped out. Or anything that her writing team crapped out. From the starting story of Gordon Runs Dry, the engine's dialogue feels more natural. There's less of a narrating presence narrating their every move. They speak like actual characters. Their dialogue, again, feels more natural. Gordon Runs Dry, I think, is one of the most underrated stories of the entire new series. I don't think people talk about this story as much as they need to. It's a very simple premise, but it works so well. Kevin's cranky friend, I also really like. This is where the whole concept of two characters who you don't think would interact with each other, with Kevin and Cranky. Two cranes who have never spoken to each other in their life, have never met, are now thrown into this situation where they have to work together to fix Brendam Docks. I also relate to Kevin's cranky friend a lot, given that the docks is overcrowded and Cranky seems to be the only guy that's actually working. I relate to this on a personal level. If you guys don't already know, I work at UPS, and sometimes it feels like I'm the only one that's working up in my area when I just have this mountain of packages that's coming towards me that I have to sort. I relate to Cranky on a personal level, and I wish I had a Kevin to help me. But hey, they're paying me a buttload to work there, so I can't really complain. Scruff's Makeover, an interesting episode, wasn't really anything special. It's cool to see that Scruff and Whiff are still a part of the series, I suppose. Wayward Winston is the best episode on Railway Mischief, and it's one of my absolute favorite Thomas stories ever. Wayward Winston is such a good balance between realism and comedy. Again, Wayward Winston is one of the most underrated Thomas stories ever. Nobody talks about this story anymore, and they should, because it's hilarious. And it has that realism that everybody cries about. You know, the tracks are bent. It makes sense that Sir Topham Hatt would go and inspect the work on the rails. It also makes sense that signalmen would mess up Thomas's route while he's chasing Winston, because it's a real functioning railway and the signalmen don't know that Winston's out of control. The realism that all the Railway series buffs cry about. It's here, and no one talks about it. Also, it's funny.
Everybody gives credit to the newer writing team for, making Thomas comedic. Thomas was comedic from season 17 onward. Wayward Winston proves that. This is a hilarious story. The shot with Winston rolling away from Sir Topham Hatt, and you see his back, and you just hear him say, "Faster, faster," as he's rolling down the hill, and Sir Topham Hatt is screaming, "No, Winston, come back!" It kills me every time I see it. Again, Wayward Winston, my favorite on this, and one of my favorite Thomas stories ever. And Steamie Stafford is the worst episode on this release. Steamie Stafford is just kind of really dumb. Why would Stafford want to be a Steamie? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's really a tie between Steamie Stafford and The Lost Puff for worst story of season 17 for me. It's Steamie Stafford. The Lost Puff is hilarious. There's also one more thing I want to comment on before I say whether or not I'm going to recommend this. The animation. Everybody harps on Ark for their first year of animation. Like, oh, it doesn't hold up at all. It sucks. It's better than Nitrogen. I noticed a difference right off the bat with Ark the first time I saw these stories. I was like, man, the animation looks brighter. It doesn't look as dark and sad as Nitrogen's animation did at times. Now, I'll admit, Ark's backgrounds do have room for improvement here. The animation is not, at 100% like it is nowadays. I'd say it's around 80-85% there, but for their first outing, this is very impressive. I've said this in the past, but Hero of the Rails does not hold up CG animation-wise. It looks like a 2002 computer graphic. This, however, will hold up 8 or 9 years from now. I firmly believe that. The backgrounds might not, but the engines themselves and the locations, the buildings, all of that will hold up 8 or 9 years from now, unlike Hero of the Rails where nothing holds up. Animation-wise, the story is still good. So coupled with Steamie Stafford and the glaring animation inferiority, I'm still going to recommend Railway Mischief because of the fact, again, this is where Thomas got good again. These aren't the best of Season 17, but Season 17 gets better as we move on in the timeline here. And thank God that this new writing team came on to fix Thomas. And thank God for the new narrator. Mark Morgan is so much better than Michael Brandon. And, by the way, Mattel, middle finger to you for booting Mark Morgan off of the show. Anyway, Green Arrow for Railway Mischief. I've talked for too long here. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Same answers as number 1. And number 5, what price should you pay? Well, for the Walmart exclusive version with the really cool slipcover, 10 to 15. That's pretty rare, but for just a regular old run-of-the-mill 2014 print, then your best bet is probably 5 to 6, maybe 7. But don't pay what people are asking nowadays for it. Don't pay that. So that was the HMR on Railway Mischief. Very underrated release. Not a lot of people talk about this one. Not a lot of people say that, hey, this is where Thomas got good again. They really credit that to King of the Railway, which makes sense to an extent. King of the Railway was what got a lot of fans, including myself, interested again in the show, but it all started with Railway Mischief, and this one isn't really remembered as fondly as it should be. But remember how I said with Go-Go Thomas that we ended out an era? Yeah, I forgot Animals Aboard is next week, and Animals Aboard is more of the same CGI schlock that we've been getting for the last, 3 months. And even better, there's stories we've already seen. It's a repackage of stories. I'm crying. It hurts. Okay. Keep it together, man. Keep it together, Lego lover. There's one more bad release, and then it's smooth sailing with nothing but good until we get to Tale of the Brave. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. See you next week for Animals Aboard. Thank you all for watching, and as always, good night, everybody. And it all starts here with Railway. So I cannot say Railway without saying Whale Ray. What the hell? Anyway, Green Arrow for I just cannot say this.